Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Ariel, also known as the Food Science Snob, and today I'm gonna make sourdough bread. So let's get started. So first you have to start with the starter. You don't have to use one of those starter kits that you can buy online. You can just use the flour and water to have already at home. But I won't lie, I did use a starter kit when I first started mine a couple months back. So I'll put that on the screen here if you want to use the same one as me.
The reason that I've been keeping my starter in the fridge is so that I can slow down the fermentation process and the activity of the yeast. Because we don't want to have to feed this thing every single day. That will waste a lot of flour and money. So yeah.
Okay, so it's been an hour and my starter has been sitting here. So as you can see, there's a little bit of liquid on top. This is called hooch. So we're gonna wanna pour most of that off. Okay, so now we're gonna discard a little bit of the starter so that we can create equal portionings of each step. So let me go grab my measuring cup. Okay, so we're gonna start discarding in those equal parts that I mentioned. So I like to do half a cup just because. So we'll pour half a cup of our starter into the measuring cup. Okay, and the rest that's in here is just the discard. So this is what we're actually gonna use. Okay, so now that our container's emptied, I'm gonna add the starter back in. So that is the first half cup portion of our sourdough feeding. Next is flour. Water. Now we're just gonna mix it all together. Okay, now that it's all mixed together, we're just gonna set this aside overnight and repeat the steps tomorrow, and then I'll see you again the next day when we make the levain.
So I just like to do this process for 2 days prior to me baking.
We're going to be making a levain, which is basically just a mixture of the starter, flour, and water, and then we're going to let that sit and ferment overnight again. Basically why we're doing this is because we want to be able to control how much sourness, fermentation, flavor is in our final loaves, and we also want to save some starter for the next time we want to make some bread. First, we're going to start by making the dough. Cover this for an hour, and we'll be back then. As you can see, the dough starting to already look a lot less sticky. So first we're going to make a little liquid salt solution to help give the dough some tenderness and some flavor. So we're going to start by adding a little bit of this mixture we just made. And basically what you want to do is run your hands all the way around the bowl, making sure you get as much of the dough off as possible. And what we're going to do is grab it from the side, and you're going to pull as much as you can before it starts to break, give it a wiggle, drop it in the middle. And you're just going to repeat all the way across until it starts to not really stretch out anymore. So I'm just going to keep going around the
So the next stage of that is the dough development, which is basically done when we're stretching out the dough, manipulating it throughout these next few stages that we'll be doing. Basically, the acid and the acetic and lactic acid are helping to break down those proteins in the dough more extendable, stretchy, so that it'll be easier to work with, so that we can manipulate it more to create more air pockets and give it that nice open crumb that we're looking for.
Now that it's not really stretching anymore, you know that the gluten is all maxed out, so we're just gonna stop there. And now we're gonna let it proof, the first round of proofing, for 5 to 10 hours, depending on how long it takes for your dough to rise. You want it to rise about 50% of what it is starting at. So we'll come back and check it in 5 hours, and hopefully it'll be ready by then. So now that our bread has been bulk fermenting and it's cooled down quite a bit, as you can see, we are going to do the first shape, and then we'll come back to the final shape, and then we'll be cold proofing until the morning. So this amount of dough usually will make 2 pretty medium-sized loaves. So I'm just gonna cut it in the middle. Now for the fun part. So basically you're just going to take the outside edge and bring it in to the middle. Kind of how we were with the stretch and folds. And you're just gonna make one continuous seam in the middle. Okay, there we go. 2 loaves. And now we'll let this sit for 15 minutes just to work out all the bubbles and kinks, and then we'll be back for the final shaping. Okay, so then you're just gonna get a bowl, add some parchment paper, dust it a little bit so that it doesn't stick, and then we're gonna put our loaf in, seam side up, because we're gonna flip it over tomorrow. We're gonna want this side up, so you're gonna put seam side up, let it go in there, plastic wrap, and then we're gonna put it in the fridge and let it cold proof for 8 to 32 hours, but I usually just do overnight. Okay, so we finally made it to the final day, the baking day. So we're gonna start by preheating our oven to 500, and we're gonna put the Dutch oven in there while it's preheating so we can get nice and warm cooked bread. You just want to make sure you have enough scoring on it so that it will be able to rise as properly as it needs to. So I'm just going to do some deep cuts. Okay, so we just wanted the oven to get really hot at first. So now that it's at 500, we're actually going to lower it down to 450 just so it doesn't burn the bread. So we're going to let that happen, and then we're going to pull. We're going to pull our Dutch oven out. Pull it off. But we made our sourdough bread. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Looks great.